This is Umar Ahmed for IFL TV in association with MTK Global. It's been a minute, and I'm joined by Archie Sharp. Obviously, not the best news for you recently. You've sustained an injury. Talk to me about it, Arch.
Yeah, I sustained an injury in camp, so I was looking at being out next week on the Frampton and Herring fight, which would have been ideal for myself, as I'm eyeing up the winner of them two. But unfortunately, I picked up an injury, which means I won't be out next week. But the good news is the recovery is going very well, and I will be back in the ring hopefully April the latest.
Okay, it's not a terrible bit of news then. April's not too long. Arch?
Well, it is what it is. It was hard enough with COVID, but now picked up a bit of a little niggle. So yeah, we'll just have to move on. And like I say, I'll be out by April.
Okay, good to hear. Good to hear. I think it's still worth doing something though, because there's been a lot kind of going on around your division. I just want to look back at the weekend. Someone that you've been linked heavily with, Zelfa Barrett, got a victory against Kinahan. We'll come on to the scorecards in a second, but how did you see the fight? Did you have Zelfa or Kika?
See, that was a good matchup because, to be honest with you, before that got announced, that fight, me and Al sat down and said about fighting Kinahan ourselves, and then it got a couple of weeks later, then Zelfa had that fight. But listen, it was a very close fight. Obviously, the mid-rounds, I had Kiko winning. If the judges said Zelfa won by a round, then or a draw, or if it went Kiko, it was that close. Do you know what I mean? It could have gone either way, in my personal opinion. I think what done Zelfa some favours is picking up the last few rounds. Last couple of rounds, I think that done him a favour. But no, it was so close to him, to be honest with you. You couldn't have argued either way. If Kiko won, you could say it's fair enough. He deserved it. Do you know what I mean? And Barrett winning, it's not. It's just a scorecard, so obviously this ruins it.
Yeah. What did you make of the two 118, 111s?
It's disgusting, mate. It is disgusting, and it just goes to what people don't realise is that these judges are making these scores. It's like Eddie Hearn done very well with his speech. I think after he done very well and said exactly the same thing. Kiko might as well have not done anything in there. Do you know what I mean? He put his art on the line. He come out and made a very good fight, and then the judges treated him like that with bad scoring. I think it's just disgusting, but unfortunately, we've had it in the sport, in the amateur days and in the pro days. It does happen.
If that was you on the ring with Zelfa on Saturday night, how do you think it would have went?
Styles make fights. It would have been a completely different fight between me and Zelfa. I think it'd be more technical. When that fight does happen, which I'm sure it will do in the near future with me and Zelfa, because listen, he's just picked up the little title now. He's going to be chasing up his world title fights. I'm chasing my world title fights, and at some point we are going to fight. But I think it'll be a very tactical fight. And yeah, just be who's got the best boxing IQ.
You said that you're pretty sure that fight happens. With him being with Eddie now, and obviously you're with Frank, are you going to have to both bring a lot more to the table, perhaps a world title each in years to come, for that fight to force itself? Is that fair?
That's fair to say, yeah. But like you said, I think because we're both young. I think Zelfa's 27, 28. I'm 25. We're both young. We're both doing our own thing on our own paths. And at some point, there's going to come a time when we're going to have to fight. So at the minute, it's a good fight. But in a year or two time, it's an even better fight, a greater fight, more on the line. And financially, it'll make more sense as well.
Yeah, fair play. You put a post out recently about Daniel Kinahan. I just want to talk to you about him and tell me about your personal relationship with Daniel Kinahan.
Yeah, so me and Daniel, we're on a personal basis. Daniel's probably one of the nicest men I've ever met. And for what he's done in my career and what he's doing regarding like advising me is phenomenal. Do you know what I mean? And I think for the sport of boxing itself, there's been a lot of fights that have been made down to the pure fact of Daniel being involved. And that just speaks volumes, because the fans are always screaming at everyone that they want these big fights. But Daniel is actually the man who's making these happen. Like, if it wasn't for Daniel, a lot of these fights wouldn't happen. So he's what boxing needs. And just down to the pure fact as well of the understanding with like myself. He knows how hard this boxing sport is, do you know what I mean? and he's, like I say, he's always there. If I need him on the phone, he's there. It's not a problem. And yeah, to be honest with him, he's one of the nicest men I've ever met, Daniel, and he's done a lot for the sport, for the boxing, and it's phenomenal. And he's good for boxing. He's, like I say, he cares for boxing. He loves the sport. He cares for the fighters, and he just wants to make big fights and big fights in history. And I think that's what he's doing.
How much has he helped you already in your career?
Oh, loads. I think definitely for the last few years, like I said, I've been in contact with Daniel. Last couple of years I've been in contact with him. He's done so much for me because he's negotiating, like he's chatting to me, advising me to negotiate some good fights and what fights to take at certain times of my career. And yeah, like I said, I picked up a little injury. He's there straight on the phone. He's very caring for the fighter. Like I say, he knows how hard it is. And when things like little injuries happen, it can be so mentally hard for a fighter. And when you got someone like Daniel on the phone, asking if you're all right, do you know what I mean? Offering any help if you can help. It's good. It's nice. It's a nice feeling, and it's a good relationship.
Okay, Archie Sharp, thank you very much for talking to IFL TV. Best of luck with this injury. Hopefully it heals sooner rather than later, and we can see you back in the ring in April. Is there anything you'd like to add before we finish off, Arch?
I'll just stay tuned, everyone, because there's some big fights that I'm trying to get this year. I want these big fights. And I'm looking forward to put on a big show. Now, being over at the iBox gym, things have been going very, very well. And I'm excited, and Alan's excited, and the whole team are excited to get me back out there. And like I say, some big fights lined up. The super featherweight division is on fire at the minute. You've got Shakur Stevenson having a bit to say. You've got Frampton in the mix. You've got Jamel. Look what's happened with Joseph Diaz, failing weight. It's another vacant belt out there. There's some big things happening, and believe me, mark my words, I'm coming through, and I'm smoking everyone in the super featherweight division.
Right, I'll see you there at the show, and we'll have another catch up there, all right, Arch?
Yeah, lovely. Perfect, Umar. Lovely. Thanks for having me on, mate.
No, thank you. Top man. See you soon.
God bless, Umar. Take care.